welcome to the 6th episode of the Practical PM, your friend, philosopher and guide to product management. This episode is literally a continuation of the previous episode, and so I would request you to watch the previous episode if you haven't, because otherwise this will not make sense. So you would recall that we had stopped the previous episode here where we were discussing the different components of the analytics setup in an organization which will help us with quantitative analysis and hence in answering our questions. In this episode, we will go ahead and take some examples of the questions we need to answer during problem solving and see what kind of setup can give us the answer. But before we move to that, I would like to clarify something about the classification you see here. Like almost any classification we have used in the different episodes of the Practical PM, this is for illustrative purposes. It will help you grasp the concept that there are different kinds of analytics techniques available which are suitable for different kinds of questions that you may have to ask. When you start using product analytics, you may notice options that do not exactly fit into one of these boxes or that overlap across these boxes. That is fine. For example, Excel is often used for analysis, and the things that you can do in Excel could be done through SQL analytics, programmatic analytics, sometimes even event analytics. Or you may have BI tools which we have primarily talked of in context of SQL analytics, but they may expand to include some of the programmatic analytics and support maybe some of the stuff that event analytics supports. All of that is fine. Just understand that the tools are available, the techniques are available, and you can use them depending on what data you have access to. So now let's move to the examples. We will first take the example we had seen in the 4th episode, that of a food delivery company. And you would recall that the problem we were seeing was that the number of orders in a day were down compared to the previous day, and they were down significantly. So we were trying to find out why they were down so that it could be solved. One of the first questions we wanted to ask was, what is the breakdown of number of orders by categories like city of order or the platform of the product? Now, to answer this question, we can use both event analytics as well as SQL analytics. Your city data will be available in shipping address most likely. Your product should capture the platform from which the order is coming. If you are using event analytics, then their SDK or library may even automatically capture the platform data. Then next, we wanted to draw a funnel. Now, SQL or programmatic analysis can be used to draw a funnel, but this is one of the places where event analytics just shines through. A product like Mixpanel will help you create a funnel within a matter of seconds, whereas it will be very tedious in SQL or programmatic analysis. Besides, to look at further cuts or further breakdown of the funnel, in case of SQL or programmatic analytics, you will have to wait for the analyst to get back, which will make the process very slow, whereas it will be super fast in case of event analytics. Then if we saw that most of the drop was after they added to the cart, then we wanted to check if shipping charges have gone up or if discounts available have gone down. So we wanted to see numbers like percentage of users seeing non-zero shipping charges, or the average shipping charges being shown to the users after add to cart, or the average discount available after add to cart, or average discount applied after add to cart. So all of these numbers can be gotten through, again, both SQL and event analytics. And like I mentioned in the last chapter, when multiple methods can be used, I do prefer event analytics because it is faster and more accessible. Then if we saw that the problem was at app open level itself, we wanted to know the traffic by user type between new and existing users. Event analytics will answer this question very well, although SQL can also be used. Then we also wanted to further break down that traffic by the different channels from which the traffic comes. Now, how do you track the channels from which the traffic comes? That is a full area of work in itself, and I will not go into the setup here. But what you need to understand is that this data may come from different products or different advertisers, which will need to be flown into your system. So you may be able to flow some of this data back into your event analytics system and do some analysis there, but it is likely that you will need SQL on top of your data warehouse to get the full picture here. So in all the example questions we saw till now, I have never said that programmatic analysis is absolutely necessary to answer them, but in more complicated cases that may happen. For example, if any of the analysis you wanted to do was pivoted not on the user but on another entity. Let us say you wanted to draw a funnel based on order statuses, not the user statuses or user actions. In that case, event analytics will not be able to help and you may need to use programmatic analytics. And suppose if you did not have event analytics at all, then drawing any kind of funnel might be better done in programmatic analysis than with SQL, because SQL may become very unwieldy and unmanageable in such cases. Now let us take some different kinds of examples. Suppose you are trying to solve the activation problem for an e-commerce app, and you notice that there is a very significant drop off between installation and sign up. The ratio of sign up to installation is very poor. So how do you figure out what is happening? You'll probably draw a funnel of all these steps that are involved after installation and before sign up. And let us say the funnel tells you that a large number of people actually click on the button that says sign up, but after that they do not actually start the process of the sign up. And your data may also tell you that they are not really seeing any errors there which should stop them from signing up. So then what is happening? Now at this stage, the events data or even the product native data will not give you any further answers. So this is the time to invite direct user inputs. You can do a user research with a segment of users that you target for your product, whether or not they have actually installed the product, and you can try to see what is the problem they are seeing on that screen. Or the users who have installed your app and they are exiting at the sign up screen, right there you can invite them to participate in a survey or a user interview to figure out what is the problem that they are seeing. And when you do that, you may qualitatively identify some of the problems people are facing, which will be your opportunities. For example, you may realize that many people are not signing up because they expected to know more about what the app has to offer to them before they would put in the effort in signing up. Or certain other people may not be signing up because the option you have given them is sign up with email, but they are mobile first users and they are more comfortable with a mobile and OTP based sign up, right? So now let's move to yet another example before we finish this episode. Suppose you have a search functionality and there was a huge demand for a filter option to be introduced in that search. So you saw the demand and you introduced the feature, but now you are seeing that the feature usage is very low and you want to figure out why is that the case and can something be done to fix it. Now when you try to analyze uses of any feature or any functionality, then one of the first things you want to find out is, are people not using the feature even for the first time, or are they trying it out at least once but after that not coming back to it? Because these two things are two different kinds of a problem. One is the problem of discovery of a feature, the other may be a problem of usability of the feature or usefulness of the feature. So this is a feature retention analysis, and again if your events are set up, your event analytics will give you this answer very quickly. So suppose you got the answer. Suppose the answer is that in case of filter, people are not using it even for the first time. So usage is less at that point itself, so there is no question of coming back at all. So then you want to find out why is that the case. What will you do next? If there are a set of actions they have to perform, you can draw a funnel to find out where the drop off is. Suppose they have to click on a button and after that select an option. So are they not clicking on the button itself, or are they clicking on the button but after that not selecting it? And you found out where the major drop off is. What next? Again at this stage, none of the analytic data, event analytic data or the product data will give you the answer, and you'll have to do something else. Suppose people are not clicking on the button itself. Then if you have the recordings available of the sessions, you may go through some of them and try to see what is happening. If you see that people are just scrolling past that button, then your next question becomes, is the UI such that people are not noticing that button itself? Now in some cases it may be very obvious that it is the case, but more often than not you may then probably have to ask for direct user inputs to validate if that is indeed the problem. Similarly, if the drop off was at the level of let's say when they are not selecting the filters although they are clicking on the button, then again the question is it too confusing? And you can see the videos to see if people are like moving around trying to figure out the options but not able to figure out, and then you can again take direct inputs to validate this. So as you see in these examples, you will use a combination of different kinds of data, different analysis techniques, and also qualitative understanding to figure out the answers to your questions, and that is how you solve a problem. So I will end this episode here. I hope this was helpful. We had promised in the last episode that we will dedicate one episode completely to event data and analytics, and that is what we will do in the next episode. So tune into that for sure. Thank you so much for watching.